Well, we're here in Monterey Car Week, and of course, Monterey Car Week is a whole week of car introductions and reveals, and Porsche surprised us all with a blast to the past. The famous 993 got a sibling with its Speedster. Now, if you're a Porsche fan, you know that Porsche built two Speedsters, one for the Porsche family, one for a well-known celebrity, and that was it. They never made production Speedsters. But when they introduced Sonderwunsch, then these kind of dreams came true. And I'm here with Philip Setter, who works with Sonderwunsch, and you've helped facilitate these kind of dreams. I think the saying is, you dream it, we'll make it, something like that.
You dream it, we build it.
There you go.
Exactly what we did.
This is the living example of it.
Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications by clicking on the bell icon and never miss a video. We've got lots of Porsche content coming your way.
When someone comes to you with the 993 idea, did you at first say we probably can't do it, or did you immediately think, I think we can?
Well, we only introduced the Sonderwunsch program a couple of years ago, so this is quite new for us as well. But anything can be asked, let's put it this way. And the 993 Speedster idea was quite thrilling and we were happy to tackle that. So yeah, at first we were thinking, how can we do it? But then it was, let's take it on and make something great out of it.
So, as I said before, the factory did build two of these back in the day. Did you use any blueprints or anything from the, did you ask one of the owners to bring the car in so you could examine it? How much did you use from the past Speedsters?
Well, obviously a Speedster is always similar in what the DNA is all about. You have the chopped windshield, you have the streamliner design, and of course we did look at the family car just to get some inspiration, but we definitely didn't want to do like a copycat. We wanted to create something new, very unique, but still with the Speedster DNA in it. Yeah.
Almost 30 years has passed since those cars were built, but you did have to go to the past and find a donor car. So
that's true. Yeah.
What did this start off as?
Well, this customer brought in a 1994 Carrera Cabriolet, and yeah, let's say the end of this Cabriolet ended when we chopped the windshields. So this was basically the time when there was no point of return anymore. And we built this new car based on that, but it still has the old VIN number. So this is still a 1994 car in the papers.
And for those who are watching that are U.S. people or North American people, 94 is usually the end of the 964. Yeah. 95 is the beginning of the 993. So it's really a 95. What we would look at would be titled as a 95, the first year of the 993. So you were talking earlier, and this is very much a departure from the other two Speedsters, even though initially it may look very closely to them. But as you start looking at the details, you start to see things that you all changed. Yeah. Now, was that something that you recommended, or is that something the customer requests?
Well, what's really special about this customer, we can name him, his name is Luca Trazzi. He is from Italy, and he is a designer himself. So he knows about all the contours and the designs. He's also a big Speedster enthusiast. He has a big Speedster collection, and he actually addressed us with a book. So he actually basically prepared a book with all the details and design sketches, what he would like the final result to be. But this was only the starting point, obviously. Okay. But we used this as a first idea, first kickoff point, and yeah, going on from there.
So how close was the final version to what he initially wanted?
Well, you'll be surprised. It's quite close to that, yeah.
Now, I think part of Sonderwunsch is that you actually get to use a Porsche designer as part of the project. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct, yeah. What we say is we integrate the customer into the project team. So basically the customer becomes the project lead, and when he has like a designer working for him, a customer consultant, engineer, mechanics and so on. But it's always this team that's closely working together with the customer. Actually, Luca already got his own factory ID. So he became part of the Porsche family and can actually open some doors in Zuffenhausen. That's quite a cool story. And yeah, being part of the family is obviously also very interesting in terms of visiting us, having some behind the scenes insights and stuff like that, and also working together with the team very, very closely.
I was going to say that takes the whole purchasing experience to a whole nother level.
Absolutely,
when you're actually you're carrying around a Porsche work ID. That's got to be every Porsche fall's dream to be involved in that process.
And he's very proud of that too. Yeah.
So tell us, so someone who's never seen a 993 Speedster or isn't familiar that you actually built a few, what was the changes that you had to make on this car from a regular 993 Cabriolet?
Happy to, yeah. So as I mentioned earlier, the chop windshield, this is actually a 964 windshields we used but put on the 993. So a carryover part is basically the windshield. Also very special about it is the streamliners, but this is a completely new and unique design because we have the wide body on this car. So it came in as a Carrera 2, small body, narrow body, extended that to the wide body. Obviously then the streamliner design has to match on a little differently. In the back you have the engine lid, which is similar to what we see on a 997. Also new designs, a little reduced optic, and this is only the most obvious on the outside. The details are, for example, the mirrors, which you might recall from the 991 Speedster concept car, but we actually made this road legal for the European market. So because it's a 1994 car, we were able to talk to the authorities, and in Europe or in Germany, this would actually be street legal.
So this will be almost a one-off mirror. You won't see this on any other future Porsche.
And you cannot convert it to any modern cars. This is only for historical or for this specific car. Yeah.
Okay.
What's really special as well is the headlights, because if you look a little closer, it's the same look as, I mean, the contour is the same as for the 993, but the inside is completely exchanged. So we have LED technology on this car, the 4-point daylight running lights. So it also has the light philosophy of modern Porsches. Also a very unique interpretation. You have the Speedster riding, so very special now. Also the ring going around.
Now it would seem simple that you just plug in a headlight, but technology, wiring has all changed from the 993 to the 992.
Yeah.
Was it fairly easy to integrate this light design, or was there more behind the scenes?
That's more behind the scenes. Yeah. So this is the tricky part. But the entire car was stripped down to the body. It was run through the cathodic dip coating. So we basically built up the car from scratch. And besides the paint, obviously, we also had all the wiring and the engine and so on. So talking about the engine, also very important part, something you don't see, but you can feel. You have a complete RS setup underneath. So it has the engine of the Carrera RS in the back.
That's a 3.8?
Yes.
The 3.8.
3.8, 300, almost 300 horsepower. Yeah. And it's more performance, but also with the Speedster design, this makes it more of the Speedster look and feel. Yeah. So we could have actually called it Speedster RS, but we stuck to Speedster. Yeah.
So the transmission stayed the same, 6-speed?
Yes.
Yeah. What about suspension?
Suspension, also the RS suspension, so a little stiffer, a little sportier. I think it will be a nice driving car. Yeah.
So this is a car that actually more likely won't be in the U.S. This will be this was made for the European market, Middle Italian market. So unless he ships it over here, maybe for next year's Monterey Car Week.
Maybe, I never know.
We may not see traversing the highways of California. The wheels, are these hollow spoke? Are they regular?
That's the regular wheels. We also wanted to, or the customer wanted to keep it era correct, so we used these wheels, but did some on the paint. The brake calipers matching, the black with the yellow Porsche lettering. So that's more of the little details. Yeah. Also the chip protection on the sides, individual design, but also gives it some Speedster note. Yeah.
So the interior, I see that you have like a checker pattern design in the middle. Was that something that Porsche recommended, that the customer wanted?
That was Luca's idea.
Yeah.
He had quite a clear vision. He wanted to leave the interior rather settled down because of very bright outside color, He wanted to have a black interior or some stitching, but at some point he felt like maybe I have to add some more touches in the interior. And the checker flag design is something that really came out nice. So it was his design, but you have to imagine that every square it is hand sewn, so it's quite some manual labor involved, but very crafty, a lot of craftsmanship behind it. You can also see a lot of carbon fibers, so this is something he's fancying a lot. And yeah, other nice little details like the Carrera RS steering wheel individualized, the head unit. We integrated the Porsche Classic communication system, which is available for all most of the historic cars. Put the Speedster logo individualized in the starting screen. We have the door panels of the RS, or resembling the RS. So it's a lot of nice little details that make it a very unique car.
And I think also the color. This isn't a stock factory color, right?
It's not. Yeah. We started off with signal yellow. That was like the first idea, and then we moved on and did some tuning on the color, and we came up with this one, which was not in the program, still not is in the program. And because we had to give it a name, Luca was thinking about his dog, and his dog name is Otto. So he named the color after his dog, and it's called Otto Yellow, actually. Yeah.
Okay, so if people think it's speed yellow or it maybe look like signal yellow, it's actually called Otto Yellow.
Otto Yellow, and it comes out really nice in the bright sun. Today it's not so perfect about the sun, but it's a very brilliant color if you see it in the sun. Yeah.
So from when he first contacted the team at Sonderwunsch to when this car was finished, what kind of time period was it?
I think he addressed us in 2020, so 4 years ago.
Okay.
We started with the project about 21, so we always say it's a 3-year period you have to calculate for a one-off. Usually we have 1 year for what we call a concept phase. So we basically do all the evaluation, the technical thinking, and do like first prototypes and a spec sheet. And if a client wishes to continue after this point, then we introduce the realization phase, which is usually about another 2 years. And this is quite what we use for this car. 3 years you have to keep in mind, and 3 years you have to wait for your dream to come true. Yeah.
And is this the type of engine where you reset the odometer to 0? Or
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So it's reset even though it's a 94. On the title, I guess.
Yeah.
Porsche almost considers it new, right?
It's almost like a new car. Yeah? I mean, the engine is completely new, but even if you're not exchanging the engine for a project like this, we would always revise the engine and set it to an almost factory new standard. And this is where the customer can choose. Do you want to continue your mileage, or you want to set it back to 0? In this case, we set it back to 0.
So, of course, the Porsche Club of America was part of the Sonderwunsch experience with the Classic Club
Yes.
Coupe. What number project is this?
Officially, being a Sonderwunsch one-off, this is the very first one.
Very first one. So you're looking at the
very first customer one. Yeah.
Customer Sonderwunsch project. Yeah. And I guess if someone else sees this and says, you know what, I have a lot of Speedsters myself, I need to add this to my collection, can they order a 993 Speedster also?
They certainly could, but we would never copy this car.
Sure.
So we would have to come up with a new interpretation, do some new design features, obviously a different color, but there's so many ideas out there, I can tell you, that I'm sure we could create something else.
There you go.
Maybe we wait a little longer.
So when you're ready, just send Philip an email and he will make your dreams come true.